call this shit. All right, here we go. Going live in 3, 2, 1, and we are live on YouTube. Hello, everyone. Sorry about starting a little late. I was at the eye doctor getting gouged because as lovely as Canadian public health care is, they assume that people don't have teeth or eyes in Canada. And if you have teeth or eyes, you need to deal with them yourself. Unless you're about to go blind, then the government will pay for your eye care. But if you're not about to go blind, then you got to pay for your own health care, your own eye care. So that was me. Kajan, thank you for waiting and for letting everyone in the chat know that I was running late. I appreciate that.
Oh, my pleasure.
And how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
All things considered.
All things considered, oh damn, is there Germany stuff that I missed?
Not really. It's still the usual stuff like increased heating costs and all that stuff.
Are you feeling that already?
Yeah. I keeping my costs down by not heating as much. So.
Oh. Sorry you have to deal with that, man.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. So.
to literally survive. To literally not freeze, you got to do what you got to do.
I mean, it's not like we have a choice.
Right.
I can't just rip out my heating, my central heating in the house and be like.
I mean, you could just build a fire pit. You could just build a fire pit. I don't know that I would advise it, but you could do it. So other than being worried about freezing to death, what's been going on?
Not much. For me personally, I've been mostly between work and working on November.
Yep.
That's pretty much the stuff I've been up to, and I've been posting updates on Instagram of the work I've been doing the last couple months, which I never felt like sharing. But
is this the Terran Effects work? You work on the Terran Effects?
Yeah, it's part of the Terran Effects. The Terran Effects is one thing I'm working on. It's a lot of little things which I'm. You know, you always have the problem on stream when you say you should be putting something down, and then you keep going.
Oh yeah, like where you're like, okay, I'm got this at a place where I'm pretty happy with it. I should stop sculpting now so I don't ruin it. Yeah, I know that.
And usually I stop at that point, but usually I have so much green stuff left over, and it's sitting out so long. It doesn't. There's no point going to the freezer and putting it into the freezer. So yeah. I have like 3-4 projects on the go, which I'm swapping in and out.
Yeah, unfortunately, the best time to freeze green stuff is like right when you mix it. But then you're like, oh, I'm gonna use all this, and then you know.
And Tom just suggested to me to get a barrel and burn all my builds on a hobo fire. That's
better, a wiser use
to heat myself.
Yeah, that could be a problem, eh? If that gets to be more efficient than paying your heating bills, that's definitely a problem. Okay, I have the problem where I don't know what I want to work on tonight. I don't feel like doing epic, intense stuff. I feel like kind of getting some shit done. So I'm thinking of maybe getting some shit done on these claws for DarthBob's Great Red Dragon. Maybe I can encourage him to actually show up for the stream, considering we know that he's off there playing Darktide right now. But we'll see.
I'm not going to shame DarthBob for playing that game.
You said you are, or you're not going to shade him?
I'm not going to shame him.
Well, actually, I want him to come because I want to hear about this game. Like, is it any good? Like, what does he think?
I have a friend who's also already playing it, and I'm waiting for my new PC. But he's also totally addicted in brackets.
So he thinks it's good.
No, yeah, he's totally over the moon with it and tries to get everybody to play.
To the point
So
where he's telling you to buy a new PC?
yeah, partially.
Well, I have a decent PC, but I have no idea if it's good enough to play it.
Brother Pink joined us and said
Oh.
Mara Gakal.
Oh yeah.
Gal?
So I think that's a response to me being like, I don't know what I want to work on tonight. I'm supposed to make him a Word Bearer's Dreadnought. I started on it I think years ago at this point. I think the Word Bearer's Dreadnought is called Marigal or something like that. I prefer to call it Krav Maga because I really have no idea what it's called and it's a weird Space Marine thing, so I don't even care. But yeah, you know that mutated Word Bearer's Dreadnought. That's a thing, right?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Dark when I do that. Oh, what's this? Yeah, there's like the Word Bearers have a mutated dreadnought. It's got like a plasma gun and like a claw for one of its arms, and it's called Marigal, I think. But I call it Krav Maga because I think that's more fun. Why is this getting dark whenever I put my hands in? That's really weird. I don't know what the heck's going on. Let's mess with some stuff. Yeah, so on my end, you were talking about like mid-November is a good time to get back to projects that you've been kind of like letting languish. Or doing little bits on, and you're posting the little bits that you hadn't posted to Instagram yet.
Yeah.
I'm kind of doing the same thing with my shit that I hadn't been posting to Instagram that much of late, but I'm kind of like using it as an excuse to get stuff on there that I hadn't posted.
I mean, that's what November is for, to share what we've been working on and celebrate turnips. So
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff I've been posting usually is stuff I didn't feel like posting, but figured it's a good time to do so. At least share some updates, keep the hashtag going, keep the
Flynn would
spirit
appreciate
alive.
that. Keeping the hashtag going, he'd definitely appreciate that. Let's do some pinning.
So how did you do those breastplate those breasts? Did you cut up to Carnifex lower parts?
Oh, you mean the chest for this guy?
Yeah.
These are actually pieces from a harpy.
Ah. Okay.
This is or actually no. You know what? I say that, but I might have used a transfer. Hold on, let me find some. I will show you. Because this is something I think I did it a long time ago stream. So I did it first with Hell, my big ass Carnifex, and I think these are harpy pieces. And I think that here I use Tyrannifex pieces. I don't know. But I will show you because that's a very good question. And it's a really cool hack to use the torsos in a different way. I just need to get one. One sec.
Yeah. The Hell one I knew, but this one looked a little bit different from the rib cage I'm familiar with. That's why I asked.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think what happened was that I ever trying to make things more efficient. Oh shit, that's the wrong box. Trying to be more like my German friends, and I was like, oh yeah, like to build this version of Hell, you need a harpy, and you know what? No, I think this is a harpy, and I think this might be from a what's the psychic one that I can never remember the name of? The big psychic monstrous creature.
Malanthrope?
Yeah, Malanthrope? Is that the one? No, the Malanthrope isn't that the gangly one?
The Forge World one. Malaceptor.
Oh, thank you. Yes, the Malceptor. So I'm pretty sure these pieces are from the Malceptor, but I only had one Malceptor. So then when I was doing this for DarthBob, I think I recommended the Harpy because the Harpy's a way more interesting kit and it would be way more or kind of like helpful, valuable, whatever, or like it would have more cool bits that I would also want to use in this commission for DarthBob. So I got that one because the Malceptor is a horrible model. Okay, let's do this. So what you do, I think this is a harpy, but I've got a Tyranifex here. It'll work. So you get your Tyranifex and you bust it out. Hope I don't regret this later when I can't find these bits. Hobby tip, because for anyone who's here and who's not pretending it's Thanksgiving because you live in the rest of the world, if you need some nippers, I got these on Amazon. You don't have to get them on Amazon, but they're called Micro Nippers NS04. They're like Engineer something or other, and I think the brand is Engineer. It says Engineer on here. So these are Micro Nippers NS04. Someone on Hobby Twitter recommended these. They're great. They're like God Hand, but without God Hand prices. Because you get God Hand nippers, they're going to cost you like $60 or $80. These ones were I think $30, and they're much better than the Games Workshop ones. They have very good spring, nice padded handles. So yeah, if you're interested in Micro Nippers NS-04, you should be able to find them on Amazon.
They're looking a little bit junky.
The nippers?
Yeah. I mean like I have here some fine electronic. I have here some fine electronic ones, which are also great, and they are like 1 millimeter at the tip and like 2 millimeters at the thickest point. So they are super small.
Kajan, what you're talking about here is some German level efficiency. Being a lowly Canadian, I cannot aspire to German level efficiency. Okay, so you got your Tyranifex torso, right? And the Tyranifex has a lot of great bits, but not always to build a Tyranifex, because I think like this body structure is pretty cool on a Hierophant, but I don't love it on other stuff. So this is how you're supposed to build a Tyranifex torso. You put it together like this, glue it. I'm not going to glue it. And then you slap the head on here. Bob's your uncle. But what my good friend Tom Box, Bits of Box, taught me is that the best way to convert Tyranids is to take the bits and mess them around. So take them, go like this, see if there's something you see there, or take them and go like this. And this is how we get like the big barrel chest on Hell, on the Great Red Dragon, is we do a little bit of this, and you're going to have to like do some cutting to make this work. Like, for example, if I were to cut this, I would probably like get my hand, another hobby tip, get a chisel blade. These things are awesome. Get my handy dandy chisel blade, and like what I want, if you look here, is I want the curve, basically the curve that you see here is this central curve in the joining part between the two torsos. So you want that to kind of line up in a circle, and that's what I did on this dude. His is not as wide as the Great Red Dragon's. Great Red Dragon is even more barrel-chested than he is. But what you want to do is you want to cut these in such a way that they overlap and they create that curve. So we could cut this kind of here, cut this one kind of here, and then you could cement them together. And you don't need them to be, this is pretty flat if you put them together like this. But once you got them, you can kind of like flex it a bit to get more of like a, instead of it being just like a flat chest, I shouldn't have said that, get more of like the kind of rounded barrel chest. It's not a perfectly Tyranid structure, but it looks Tyranid enough.
Would you heat it up to bend it?
Oh, no, you don't have to bend it. You just have to, like, when you join them together, you just have to make sure that you angle the join. Yeah. So instead of bending it, you just you angle that join like that, and it would probably look a little better, because instead of the front of the model being flat like this, you have like a kind of like more of a natural like curve, kind of like ribs. The only weird thing about this is then Tyranid ribs are supposed to go like, I don't know, is the word laterally, like this way, and now you've got ribs going like this. Yeah. Horizontally, thank you. Yes. So what I would recommend is that then you go in and you emphasize these things to be your new ribs. Although, you know what?
You can always
it's fine because
yeah,
The
you
ribs
can
look
always
more or less.
sculpt.
I don't know. It's weird because like if you look at these go like
Yeah,
horizontally on the warrior, and then if you look at Hell's, they go kind of like dip down, but then I kind of like curve them around like this by like doing it at the side. So there's
yeah, I
that.
know what you mean. Which is the breast, the rib cage that is looking like it's made of femur bones.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. I mean, I think you can still get away with it. I need to put another pin in here. That thing pissed me off. Yeah, so that's where
I
I got
didn't.
this torso from.
Yeah, I didn't mean your sculpt. I meant the official sculpt. Always reminds
Oh,
me of femur bones that are stuck to a to the sides of the warrior. Brother Pink is complaining about the snips you just advertised to be too expensive, and he said
oh, he
he
lives in
bought.
Japan though. Cheeky
Yeah, he
bastard. He probably
said.
bought something at the Dollarama or the dollar store that was better than God Hand.
Yeah, he just said he bought some in their hardware store for half that.
Yeah, he's a jerk. Don't listen to him. If you live in Japan, you can like trip and like go to the conveni and like buy a pair of like amazing Gundam whatever tools for like $3 at the conveni. But we don't live in Japan, unfortunately. Okay, sorry.
I didn't think it was that bad in Japan. So to go to the convenience store to pick up a Gundam model.
Yeah, you can totally do that. Come on.
I mean,
Probably need
I know
this.
I know all the crazy the slot machines where you go and I don't know, on the side
Gachapon.
of the road, we have maybe drinks or something like that.
Oh
A
yeah.
pizza if it gets much, and there you can go down an alley and pull yourself a new business suit.
Well, not slot machines, but vending machines.
Yeah, vending machines. That was the word.
Yeah, yeah. Coin operated. Yeah. Okay. What the hell am I doing? Right, I'm pinning because I feel intrepid tonight. What I really got to figure out is like an arm for this guy because I'm stressing about. I got this big honking claw, and I got to mount it to an arm somehow. And I was trying to think of like a two-segmented arm, and then this is on the end of the third segment. But I think that maybe one arm, and then this is like this, the second segment, and then the hand is the third. I don't know. Right? Yeah, that's kind of how Tyranid arms work. But then like I think he's got to have like a really big arm.
Well, on the on the Venom Warrior I made for November, I fused two arms together.
Yeah, that
Pur-
fused arms I like.
I purposefully used two separated arms, which going down into the Stranglethorn, and the Stranglethorn already has the lower arms fused together. It is supposed to be one thick upper arm that's going into those two separated arms. And I
Yeah.
cut that off and used two small arms, which are also going in there, and it's completely fused together.
So Stranglethorn, is that the fancy new name for a barb strangler?
I think Bob Strangler is the small one, and the
Okay.
Stranglethorn
Stranglehorn
is the
cannon?
big
Is it
one.
Stranglehorn?
Thorn,
Or is it Stranglethorn?
like
I can't
the
remember.
thorny vine.
Oh, okay. I thought it was horn. Whoops, sorry. Oh man, I gotta clean shit. I don't want to clean shit. Oh god damn it.
But
The
I also
worst.
might have it backwards. So
Might also have what?
it backwards.
Oh, gotcha. This is riveting stuff. I didn't know that I had to clean these friggin' claws.
Brother Pink just said 7-Eleven has a store exclusive Gundam once a year.
No, you're a liar. I do not believe you. I can't believe 7-Eleven has an exclusive. Well, no, sorry, I lie. I can believe that 7-Eleven has an exclusive Gundam. Still think it's ridiculous.
Just imagine a Gundam in 7-Eleven colors with 7-Eleven branding.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of the color scheme. That would be awesome. I mean, 7-Eleven's got some good colors. Isn't it like green, orange, and red or something? That's not bad.
Green, white, and red, I think.
Okay. I can't remember. I was a Seiko Mart man. I never went to 7-Eleven. There wasn't one in my town.
Yeah, it's green, white, red, and orange.
In fact, when you live in Japan like I did, you get on a first name basis with it, and you and your friends get drunk one night and decide that it should be called Jevon 11. And then from there on out, it's just let's head down to Jevon and get some beers. Oh man.
Well, I'm living in a country that's turning the board side up at midnight, so
Turning the what?
it's an saying we have around here because everything closes before midnight. So
Really?
Yeah.
Is that like an all Germany thing or just your area?
It's an all Germany thing.
Really? So
it's
bars close at midnight.
Yeah, most bars, if they are in the city center, have to be closed before midnight.
Wow.
And you can get special provisions for clubs, which have to close around 2 if they are in a residential area, and they can be all around the clock, or I think, or until 4 if they're in an industrial area.
I think I encountered this when I was in England one time, where I was at like this place in London. I think it was called like Zoo Bar or something. And it was like midnight, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the bar is closing." It's like, "What? Midnight? Really?" And they're like, "Or you can continue partying downstairs, but if you go downstairs, you can't leave. Like if you leave, you're done. You have to like go downstairs and stay down there and keep partying. And if you want to go outside, you have to leave." I'm like, "Okay." So we went downstairs and kept partying. So maybe it was like a club downstairs or something. I don't know.
I'm used all my life to be everything shuts down at 2 a.m. the latest, and
That's Canada. Like, well, ish. Like, it's been a long time since I was in a club or a bar, in Canada. But here, last call is at 2 a.m. That's when you can place your last order for alcohol. And then I think the bar is normally closed down by 2 or 3 a.m. at the latest. But yeah, you can drink until 2 a.m.
Diana is just asking if people can't sell beer from their houses in Germany. And no, they can't. I think it's supposed to be joking about everybody having beer at home.
Yeah.
But in Germany, you need for everything a permit. You need to have a permit to get a permit.
Yeah, I've probably told this story before, but I'll tell it again. Hydra was in for a rude awakening when he came to Canada because you think that it's bad in Germany. I shouldn't say Canada because it's like my part of Canada, which is we're in the most populous province, Ontario. In Ontario, liquor is like controlled, and the only places that can sell it are well, of course, bars can sell you like a drink. But if you want to buy like your own like bottle of beer or something like that to take home, you can only buy it at what's called the LCBO, the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, which is a store that sells spirits, beer, wine, all kinds of stuff. Or you can buy it at the beer store, which is sort of controlled by the government, but it's actually like it's a really shitty situation where I think like Anheuser-Busch and some other big alcohol companies, they got this permit from our province to run this beer store, and they get to control what beer comes into it. So of course they're selling their own, and it's very hard for like small breweries to get their stuff in there because these big conglomerates don't want to let them in. So yeah, your two options are the beer store or the liquor store. The liquor store is never open later than 10 p.m., maybe 10:30. So that's the latest that you can buy alcohol to take home. And same thing with the beer store. The beer store probably closes at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Now there's some grocery stores that can sell alcohol, but it's very limited. And I'm pretty sure that they can only sell alcohol until like 10 p.m. And then the grocery store can be open later, but they can't sell alcohol after that time. So when Simon first came here, we were going to get food, and it was kind of late. And I was like, "Oh, do you want to get some beer?" And he's like, "No, no, no. We'll get it later. Let's go get food first." I'm like, "Okay." Thinking to myself, "Well, the beer store might be closed." So we finished dinner at like 9 p.m. He's like, "Okay, let's get some beer." And I'm like, "No, we can't get beer." He's like, "Why?" And I said, "Well, the store where you get the beer is closed." He's like, "Okay, we'll go to a different store." I'm like, "No, that's the only store." And he was so pissed. And the
Well,
next
you
morning,
should
he got up. And I'm like, "What do you want to do today?" He's like, "The very first thing I want to do is make sure we buy some beer." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
be used to it. So I
Yeah, we're
mean,
used to it.
Simon is old enough to remember the time when every store had to close at 8, the latest. I'm
Oh,
still
really?
I'm old enough where when stores would close at 6 p.m.
Oh, wow. We get that like some stores on weekends here, but mostly things close at like 8
And
ish.
everything is closed on Sundays. And
Yeah.
the gas stations have special permits; they can stay up, but few stay up after midnight because due to hazards and robberies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So only really big cities usually have any kind of store after midnight, and
This is then or
uh,
now?
that's then and now in many parts. Shops can only be open until 10 p.m. at most right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we don't have convenience stores as you might know them. So 7-Eleven type stores, I've never seen one.
Yeah.
And yeah, you basically have to go to a gas station, and our gas stations are basically convenience stores as you
Yeah.
know them.
We've got a
Um,
bit of that in Canada where the gas stations used to be just be gas stations, and now they're getting to become more convenience stores.
and we have two messages in chat, and I will address
Yep.
Diana's first because it's about the topic right now. Diana said, when I went to Wacken years ago, people had bars in their garden, and one of my friends who was born there said they could get licensed to sell beer from their houses. Yes, that's actually true. You can get a license to sell alcohol and beer from anywhere you really want. If you have the
Yeah.
license to sell, you can sell it wherever you want. And Wacken is a big metal concert. It's a little bit. I would liken it to Woodstock, but for metalheads.
Yeah.
Um, you have people camp. Wacken is a small town in Germany, and once a year the metalheads descend on this small town.
Mm-hmm.
They have more people coming in than actually people living there.
Oh, why? What's so special about walking for metalheads?
Um, just they set up a big party one day, and
Yeah.
it's
Like a festival?
yeah, it was a metal festival. It was I could be wrong on this. It's got started about the time. I'm not going to age myself too much here. But
Yeah.
around the time Wacken was started, I was into techno and stuff, and it was for us it was seen as the counter to Love Parade and stuff like that.
Okay.
And we have Wacken und Rock am Ring. Rock am Ring is a big rock festival, and Wacken is the big metal festival.
Yeah.
And yeah, and
Cool.
yeah, in Wacken you then have those small people living in that village who will be selling from their home and stuff. It's like once a year. And since the
So
permit
Diana
is,
found the one place that it happens.
yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha.
And Fellis, the other comment was from Fellis, and
Yep.
he or she, I'm not quite sure, and they
I think Fellis is a
responded
he. I'm not sure.
about your problem with the arms, and he suggested going back to the arms. The thick armor part works as a forearm with an elbow
See, that's what
hidden
I thought.
under the end of the
Yeah.
plate. Then you need
Yeah. Okay,
only the
cool.
upper arm from something big like the Horus packs. And I think he
I
means
feel like it's not going to be big enough. I think I'm going to have to make my own.
the
I
big
mean, I've done it
chunky
before.
arm, the big chunky crab claw from the Horus packs could
See,
work.
so when you
Maybe.
look at that big chunky crab claw, the crab claw is chunky. The arm it's on is like shockingly small. Like I remember being disappointed with how small that arm is, and that the crab claw looks like oversized for the rest of the arm. So I think I
Yeah,
need to go big. I think I need to use more power. Oh.
you could be using two upper arms from a Carnifex.
They're not going
Anything
to be big
from a
enough.
Carnifex. If you
The
use
Carnifex
two
is
of them,
like no. This thing is. They're not. First of all, they're not going to be long enough. The problem I have with Tyranid arms, they're not long. They're stubby. Like especially the upper arm. Like what's the biggest Carnifex arm you can think of? Like I don't even know if this is a Carnifex Scything Talon.
the
But look at how
sighting
stumpy
talon.
the upper arm is. And look at how like long the forearm is. Like even if I put two of them, it's way too short. So I need something massive. And like
The problem,
get the what's it called? The what's this whippy dude with the toxicrene? Look at how
Toxicrene,
tiny
yeah.
this arm is. My Tyranids are too big. They're too chunky.
the problem right now with the scything talon is if this is a Carnifex
Like
scything talon.
this is a hair dual arm. It's still too short. I gotta make it myself. Crushing claw arms, dinky. Like even the if I were to use just the forearm of the crushing claw, it's too small. I gotta make my own. Settles it.
Fellis said that's him, he and him, and I meant the second pair of the arms he supports itself on.
Seconds. Oh yeah, I don't have those because I used them. Yeah, I know what you mean. The I used those in that Dactylus that I showed the other day. And that's the only Exocrine Harrispecs I've ever bought. So that is gone, unfortunately. That option is not on the table.
Yeah, the Haruspex kit is those chunky arms is the reason why I want to get one. It's about
That's
the
the
only
reason
reason I
everyone
want
wants to get one. Oh, and if you've missed it, Thrifty Squirrel on Instagram has done a really awesome conversion where he used those arms as legs, and it works really well.
I did in fact miss that.
Yeah, they're really cool. It was a really great solution.
Can join in with everybody's complaints about Instagram lately.
Instagram what?
Everybody's complaining about things not really showing up on Instagram.
Yeah. Like, for example, I never see your post, Kajan. I don't know why. Doesn't serve me, then.
That's unfortunate.
Oh, so
But
Brother
I'm
Pink
not
said that
popular anyway, so...
Oh, whatever. Brother Pink said that the Gundam actually has 7-Eleven colors. I missed that.
Yeah, me too.
Nice. I mean, it's right there. Like I'm glad that they took that opportunity, because why wouldn't you? If you're making your own Gundam, definitely do it in your colors. Hot tip, in case you missed this the last time I was working on this guy. This is a Tyrannocyte armor plate, but I cut the sides of it to make it more sexy. Because if you look at a standard Tyrannocyte armor plate, it like... So Tyranid armor plates are supposed to go out, and then they're supposed to like cut in on an angle towards the previous one. Not so steep, but like definitely not this kind of like weird flat thing on the sides. So what I did was I went and I cut them to make them more sexy and Tyranid armor platey, and I think it really improves this bit. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm going in and cutting in the angle on each of these armor plates, and I think it really improves the look of it. You just gotta carve away excess underneath.
I also do that a lot on my stuff. I'm even
Good.
so pedantic. I'm cutting along the armor ridges to make them more bowed inwards.
Oh, okay. That's more work than I want to take on, but good for you. But yeah, you can like do a lot by cutting and modifying the angle.
There's a lot of detail on the actual sculpts of the Tyranids, but it's kind of a bit too filled in.
Yeah.
And it looks so much better if you go in and scrape it a little bit out and cut a little bit on. Refine the edges and stuff like that. At least that's my opinion. It's a lot of busy work.
Do it as much as you want to, but if you have the patience for it, it can pay off. However, now I got to do that on my own bit because I've realized that I got to clean this. Oh, damn it.
Well,
victim.
Unfortunately, you have the no sanding policies. Otherwise,
exactly. Screw that. I've got better things to do with my time than sand Tyranids. Come on.
Well, I have a nice sanding sponge. And
this time I could better be used almost cutting off my fingers.
Yeah, but it's great in a situation like the one you have there. You can take a sanding sponge and rub it over the side, and it will be rounding everything a little bit more.
Oh, that's probably a good call.
See,
I think my problem was that when it came to like sanding and filing and stuff, all I had was my dad's like the smallest files that my dad had kicking around his workshop. I never got like fancy like Gundam files or whatever, and I'm sure that if I had fancy Gundam files, it would be a lot easier. Who dat?
Hello.
Hey, DarthBob.
Who's that? Oh, is that Mr. Sorry, I got important Thanksgiving stuff to do, like play Darktide.
Well, no, I just thought I wasn't saying that. I was saying that I thought everybody else. I didn't think we would really have an audience, so I didn't. It was
typical like American.
Well,
typical American. Thanksgiving, the world stops. What? There's a world out there, huh? Other people got to work tomorrow. What? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I have actually spent all day because we're actually hosting Thanksgiving at the house. So I've actually been spending all day like straightening the house up, cleaning out the kitchen, getting ready for another 2 days of cleaning up after Thanksgiving. So, but should be fun.
So Thanksgiving happens on a Thursday in America.
Mm-hmm.
This is always the way?
Yep.
Why a Thursday?
I don't
get it.
It's always the third Thursday of November.
Like, this is the thing I don't get. Like, Canada, Thanksgiving, Monday. You get the Monday off. Everyone celebrates it on the Sunday. Everyone has, like, their family dinner if they're celebrating Thanksgiving. They do it on the Sunday. You got the Monday off to recover, and then you're good. But in America, it's like, you're going to... Like, do you get the Wednesday off or no?
Typically no, but generally we get the Friday off. Because it's Black Friday.
So you have, like, Thanksgiving Eve on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
You celebrate Thanksgiving on a Thursday. So you get the Thursday, Friday off. That's, I don't know. I don't get it.
Generally, it's not true of every company. Not every company gives us Friday off.
Oh, okay.
Every company I work for has.
I thought that was everyone. Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, at least
not
In
in the
like
USA.
corporate, like office America, yeah, it's like typical that you get a Friday off. But like for retail workers and stuff, they can't
No,
exactly
because
give
it's big
people off
retail
Black
day.
Friday.
Yeah.
Well, it's the third Googled question about
Why
Thanksgiving.
Thursday?
Yeah. And the answer seems to be that the Puritan colonists wanted to distance themselves from the Sabbath day, which would be Friday.
Oh, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Weird. Okay, gotcha.
Are you working on? Oh, you are. Oh, it's the
Yeah,
boy.
baby. Oh wait, you're here. I gotta stop working on this now.
Oh no. Oh, it's looking good. That's a big chunky claw.
Actually, right before you arrived, I was lamenting the fact that Tyranid arms are too weedy, and I'm gonna have to build a new arm for this because nothing is big enough for this claw.
Oh no.
I've taken
Oh,
the
he's
measure of
actually
Tyranid forearms or upper arms, and I found them wanting. Biceps, Tyranid biceps. That's the word I'm looking for.
you've actually worked on it more than the last time I recall seeing an update.
Yeah, it's because I only work on it when you're not around.
Oh,
Got to
okay.
surprise you.
It looks really
For anyone who's
nice. I
tuning in
like the.
late, this is DarthBob's model I'm working on now. It's the Great Red Terror. Sorry, the Great Red Terror, the Great Red Dragon, inspired by Hell, and also a custom sketch from Roberto Cirillo that was commissioned for this piece. Because DarthBob and me, we just like rolling around in cash and
Yep.
hiring talented concept artists to make stuff for us.
Yeah. I don't even want to know how much money I've spent in general on like commissioned artwork. A lot. Too much,
Yeah, I've realized I should
probably.
have charged you more because you got lots of cash for that stuff, man.
Well, I haven't sent the second payment yet.
Yeah, but we know what it is.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, yeah.
Do we? I don't even
I was.
remember. You could tell me any number at this point. It's been so long I forget.
So I was talking about how these Tyrannocyte pieces get way better when you clean up the lines of the carapace plates. Because for comparison, I was showing before, this is what the Tyrannocyte carapace plate looks like normally, which is this weird like flat along the edge, and the weird like the bottom sticks out from the top. So when you cut it down and get this angling, it looks a lot better.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Well, this November
Awesome.
I have been not working on a lot, but I did start a little something. My camera setup
Good.
isn't all set up, or I would show it off. But I'm working on my own um, baby lifter.
Oh, cool. Hey, I thought you were gonna work on what's the thing? Talon Horror?
The Talon Horror. Yeah, I have been working on it a little bit on and off,
Oh,
but
cool.
I got to a
An impasse.
I broke something. And I got
Oh, that's
frustrated
the
and I decided to
worst.
come. Yeah, I decided it's not like unfixable, but it was just like, ugh.
I
So I was
understand
like,
it.
you know what? I don't want to look at you right now.
You know
So
that I understand. We've talked about my wheelies that I still haven't fixed.
the
My Gene Stealer cult wheelies that I broke and I just can't look at them anymore.
wheelie gigs, yes.
As my friend who does knitting says when she gets frustrated with one of her projects, she puts it in a corner and makes it think about what it's done. When really
That's
it's just something
yeah,
she fucked
I'm
up.
exactly like that. I do that.
Yeah.
I do exactly that. It's like punishment. You must be punished for my failings.
Yeah.
I like that blade that you're using. I need to get one of those.
That's a chisel blade. Everyone needs one. You also need a curved scalpel blade. These are the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas.
Hold on. So let me see if I can. I've got it. I basically I started doing like the parts. I extended the bloodletter legs, and
Nice.
I started like I basically got all the pieces chopped up. I just need to basically do the putting them all together and then green
This
stuffing
is
the
Baby
stuff.
Lictor we're
But
talking now?
yes, the
Yeah.
it's was it Bargus
Barghest.
that originally did? Yeah.
Barghest
The
design.
Barghest
Barghest
pattern
pattern
lictor.
baby lictor. Yeah.
When you said a curved scalpel blade, do you mean a hook-shaped one or a butterfly bow-shaped
Both.
one?
Both. I use the bow mostly, but I also have a hook one, and it's useful for stuff too. In fact, I was just using my hook-shaped scalpel blade to process Brussels sprouts for Nora. She grew the world's largest supply of Brussels sprouts in her garden this summer. I don't know why. She just got inspired by Brussels sprouts. It looked like Jurassic Park out there, and it was all Brussels sprouts. And yeah, she's like, "Oh man, we got to process these." I'm like, "Wow, this is a lot of Brussels sprouts." So I just like took the stalk, because like the way Brussels sprouts grow, it's kind of cool. I didn't know this. You've got like leaves growing off the stalks, and the Brussels sprouts grow at the base of the leaf. So what I realized is I take my hook blade, and like the leaves are growing off, and then the Brussels sprouts are above them. So I cut the leaf, rip off the leaf. I cut the Brussels sprout, pull off the Brussels sprout, and I keep working my way. Well, I was doing it away from myself. But yeah, I cut the leaf with the hook blade, get rid of it, cut the Brussels sprout, put it in the bucket, cut the next leaf, get rid of it, cut the next Brussels sprout. So the hook blade was amazing.
That's interesting. What's exactly is involved in the processing of Brussels sprouts? I'm not familiar with
the situation
term.
is that she wants to save everything. So like she's like, I have all these Brussels sprout leaves because I grew way too many Brussels sprouts. I want to roast the leaves and turn them into like Brussels sprout leaf chips.
Oh,
it kind
that
of
sounds
worked.
good.
They were okay. It kind of worked. The problem is that like we don't have like a dehydrator or anything, so we like the chips. It's hard to keep them crispy, so it's challenging. But we tried, and she was like, "Yeah, I want to save all these leaves." But like the processing mostly is getting the Brussels sprouts off the stalk, because that takes work.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So that was my job.
I don't like what do Brussels sprouts look like when they're like not the individual sprouts? Are they like do they come on like a?
They come on a big giant stalk. Like picture broccoli, like like a stalk of broccoli, like the stalk on a broccoli.
Yeah.
Picture that, but like really long and like thick. Like broccoli kind of it expands as you get up towards the florets. Brussels sprouts are just a long, thick stalk, and like the big giant leaves come off of it, and the leaves are like really hardy. And then at the base of each leaf is a Brussels sprout.
Oh.
So you can buy Brussels sprouts at farmers markets where you just buy the stalk, and all the Brussels sprouts are like sitting on the stalk, and then someone's already taken off the leaves for you. The leaves for you.
Oh, okay.
I just posted a picture.
Oh,
thanks.
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah, I like Brussels sprouts. I used to hate them when I was a kid, but then I realized I just hated how my great grandmother prepared them. I
think everyone is told to hate them as a kid. It's like an anti-branding of Brussels sprouts.
They don't smell very
broccoli
good.
lobby,
I will say that.
True. Going in or coming out, get some good Brussels sprout farts.
Yeah, they have a kind of funky smell to them. So that I do agree with. But I think they taste pretty good. I really like to roast them in the oven with bacon.
Yes.
And a little bit of balsamic vinegar.
That's the way. That's how you. If you don't like Brussels sprouts, that's how you're gonna like them.
Yep, that's how you like Brussels sprouts. Is just put bacon. Add bacon.
Yeah, well,
that's really like good general. I was about to say. If you don't like it, just add bacon, and then you'll like it.
You guys ever watch Epic Mealtime?
Oh yeah, before the channel died.
Yeah, so those were Canadian boy. Oh fuck. Ah crap.
What happened?
Snapped off one of the. Apparently these are not pinned.
Oh
shit.
Rip.
Oh well. Should have done this before I was going to put those on. Oh, whatever. Yeah, those were some good Canadian boys at Epic Mealtime, and they would just put bacon on everything.
Try to get a picture of the work in progress, or at least the parts that I got together. I got a kind of interesting, I had a kind of interesting idea for my baby lictor.
Yeah, what's that?
I'm going to make him a Wendigo.
Ooh. What part exactly?
Well, you will see if I can take a good picture.
For anyone who's not familiar, Wendigo is an indigenous I guess in the States you might say what's the proper term in the States? In Canada we say indigenous.
It's
Native
a
American.
hunger demon from the native mythology.
There's a bunch of names for it.
Yeah,
I've heard it
it's a
described as like a
werewolf.
hungry ghost.
Yeah, it's basically it's a skinwalker and shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Whatever
It's a
you want to
cannibal
call
spirit.
it. It's
Cannibal spirit, hungry
cannibal
ghost. There's a
spirit.
number of different. Yeah.
I will put the
It's
picture in the worker
created by
progress.
someone freezing to death, starving, freezing to death.
I think a lot of
That-
different bands and nations have different versions of the tale, but it is a very common tale that is, yes, does have things in common with like what like Europeans would call a werewolf or something like that. Skin changer. There's that element of hunger. Yeah.
I put the picture in work in progress Wednesday.
Okay.
Of it hastily put together with blue tack.
Oh, whoa, it's got antlers. Oh, geez, what the heck? My earphones are charging, and they were sitting on the X key. I wonder for how long. Oh, just recently. Okay. Can I get that in here? I don't know. Let's try. YOLO. Oh, wow, it took over the whole screen. That's weird. There is DarthBob's Wendigo. Some antler action. So is it a Tyranid or what is it?
It is going
a
to be a
lictor?
Tyranid. Yes, it's like
Okay.
so I'm going to add that skull, because one thing I wanted as a little reference to every other version of this variant lictor that Barghest made up is we use a skull from the skull kit as the head. So I selected one of the like cow skulls, and then I kind of cut away the bottom part of it, and then in that gap I'm going to add feeder tendrils.
Nice. Yeah, that is one of the keys of the Barghest pattern lictor is the bloodletter legs. The other key is the skull head. These are all awesome elements that I would not have thought to do until the dear sweet Barghest did them for us.
Yes, thank you,
blew
Barghest.
all of our minds. Thank you, Barghest. The Tyranid gift that keeps on giving.
Yep. He's always got weird and wacky new Tyranid designs.
I feel like I haven't kept up with, like, again, I don't know if it's Instagram just like shit in the bed, but I haven't kept up with Barghest this November.
Is he on the Discord? He is, isn't he?
He is on the Discord.
Yeah, but he hasn't been really active in the past month or so.
He said something about he was working on Chaos, I believe. Oh yeah, he sent me a message and he let me know that he wasn't going to be super active in November, which was very sweet of him to say. In that he sent me a message, and I think he was saying that he has a Chaos project that he's working on, possibly with his brother or for his brother, and that needs to take priority right now. But then he'll probably get back to Tyranids after that.
He did post that really cool retro warrior earlier in the month.
Did I see that?
And then actually he just posted 15 minutes ago. He posted like some weird Tyranid fish.
Sweet. Oh wait, that he did a Tyranid fish last year. Is this a new one?
I think so. Yeah.
Let me go have a little look-see. Oh, I can get the Wendigo off the screen.
Oh, it looks really cool, actually. I like it. They're both... He actually did two of them. Like a little baby one and the big one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the little baby one is the old one from last year. Can we get this budget attempt at sharing on the screen? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's got some nice harpy like what? Go check out Barghest's profile. I'm not going to show you my screen on thing. This is looking good. Oh yeah, there's a lot of good harpy bits in there. Man, that harpy kit. God,
great
Barghest
use
is
of the smile effects too. The smile effects head.
Yes, it was supposed to look like a shark, I think, when they created it, and
then it just did.
and then it just didn't, and everyone made fun of the Carnifex for being smiley.
It's good old smile effects. I've got 2 upstairs in my hobby drawer, still in the boxes. But I just don't know what I'm gonna do with them.
Save them for when you have a good idea. You could always do the
Yeah.
one above all thing and make like beef zoanthropes out of them. Remember those?
I'm not familiar with that one.
Above all did
One
really
above
cool.
all.
Oh god damn.
See on Insta? I'm not familiar
Yep.
with this.
One
stuff.
above all. One above all designs.
Oh, there it is. Maybe. Yeah, I do not.
It's probably a little ways back, but he took Carnifex bodies, like 3rd edition Carnifex bodies, stuck second edition Zoanthrope heads on them, and made these like huge beefy linebacker Zoanthropes. It was cool.
Oh. Seeing lots of balls, painted balls.
Barkas said in the chat, I'm dying of Lurgi.
Oh, Lurgi.
And I did just a post. Did just post another knit. Probably
Thank
the one we
you.
just talked about.
Yeah, good timing. And you can hear our reactions live here on the stream as we gaze on your brilliance with the fish nid. Shark nid. Okay.
What is lurking? Is that like a
Lurgi is like isn't it like huh?
Isn't it COVID?
No, I don't think it's COVID. I think it's like ennui or something like that.
Lately everybody seems to be using it as way to say they're having a flu, some type of flu.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure.
Maybe you want to do your Google, Kajan? Your Google flu? Look up Lurgi for us, because we don't speak British.
I'm looking for these Carnifex zoanthropes. It's just lots of painted balls.
Okay, a fictitious, highly infectious disease.
Oh!
Sometimes as a reference to flu-like symptoms.
Oh, okay.
I thought it meant just like feeling under the weather.
That's like a man cold.
Okay, let's see if I can find one above all stuff.
Barker said Logi is an old name for an illness from a 1950 comedy radio show. And Diana said general illness.
I found it and I love it. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Wait, were you looking at the wrong thing? Because it's literally like his first post that I see.
Is it?
Oh, you went too far.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, I found the just giant Arnold Schwarzenegger zoanthropes.
That's it.
Yeah, those are cool. Those are really cool. I dig it. I have both the parts to make that happen. I might have to make that happen. That's really cool.
It's like one of the prompts is like a horror zoanthrope or something. Maybe that's it. There's a couple of zoanthrope prompts in November, I believe.
Yeah, this one was my take on the ambusher prompt.
Oh yeah, the baby lictor.
Yeah, the baby lictor / Wendigo / ambushers.
Cool.
Because all the ones that I got on the random roll, I was like not feeling. I just gotta I got. Well, the first one I got was the Ancient Dominatrix, and I was like, "This is the universe telling me to finish my Dominatrix."
Do it. That was me. I hired the 5th member to get into your computer and mess with your random roll. It's like, we must see it. The world needs to see your Dom.
The Dommy Mommy.
Oh my god. Never have I heard that before.
There's been a lot of really great November entries this year.
Yeah. I mean, like, Dachande stealing the show with that cool, like, shadow box card setup. That was damn cool.
Yeah,
It
that
got
one's
dropped
gonna be
this
pretty
week.
hard to beat. That one's gonna be pretty hard to beat. Just like I think that one's the most spot on to like,
Like the prompt and the idea and like
yeah,
the
exactly.
inspiration and yeah.
The background art is really well done. Is it a he
He's an
or
artist. He's a proper artist. Yeah, he's a proper artist. Like he used to be
yeah, it's
an ink. He would ink comics or something like that.
mhm.
Yeah, you talked about it in one of the channels of the Discord.
Yeah, yeah, because he's doing all
Yeah,
those
it's
like kind
really
of
cool.
comic style illustrations of Tyranids on
Mhm.
his profile.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love how it like slightly comes out from the shadow box too. I like it. Yeah, it's very cool.
Listen,
Like
when I first saw it, I didn't understand what I was looking at. I'm like, wow, that's a cool Photoshop. And then I was like, no, that's not a Photoshop. That's like he like did the perspective in like a 3-dimensional thing. Like, it blew me away.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
really cool.
he was teasing about it on the November post, how he made the box and stuff like that.
What did he use for the legs?
They're
'Cause it looks
lictor
like it's
legs,
made of
and
resin.
he sculpted the
Are they
feet.
lictor?
No, yeah. So I think they're fine cast lictor legs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which is a good use for that model. Like that model, I didn't love that model, but I'm coming around. It's not a bad model. I mean, it sucks that it's fine cast, but it's not a terrible model.
The lictor.
Yeah.
I just think that they have yet to make a better lictor than the original second edition lictor.
Yeah, this one's the closest though.
It is the closest.
Like,
but
this one I would actually want to buy.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think I bought one.
We just need plastic ones, please.
Exactly. I believe it's going to happen. I believe it's in the cards.
Yeah,
I actually
I'm
thought
sure.
that the Parasite and Mortrex tail thing that they previewed might have been a lictor.
Yeah.
Not a great
Alas.
lictor. I think I said this could be a lictor, but it would be bad sculpt.
Until then, we will just make Vargas pattern baby lictors.
It is the way.
And your ridiculous, gigantic lictors.
Yeah, they're a bit big. Speaking of the way, have you guys been watching Andor?
I haven't, but it's on my list of shows to start watching. I've got a couple that I like really want to sit down and watch. I want to watch the
It is extremely
Cyberpunk show
good.
too.
Oh, I don't. But Andor is extremely good. It's better than it has any right to be. Like,
yeah,
Mandalorian
it's funny
was
because
pretty
like
good. This is better than Mandalorian.
yeah, like I was like, did anybody want more Cassian Andor? I like were there
I do
fans
now.
clamoring for more? Yeah,
I do now.
but like now everybody's hailing about the show, and I'm like, I was just surprised the show even got made. Like I was like, who was asking for this?
I didn't know I needed more Cassian Andor until right now.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe that I've been getting, which is cool. I loved Rogue One.
Like if they make a good show, I need more Rancor Keeper in my life. Like whatever, as long as it's a good show.
I would actually that'd actually be an interesting, at least for like a little like maybe like single episode like special, just like the history of the life of the Rancor Keeper in Jabba's palace. I would actually.
I kind of stole that joke from
that.
a YouTuber, but whatever.
Ironically, I would actually enjoy seeing that.
You got a little bit of it in Book of Boba, which was not good. I mean, it was fine,
Book of Boba
but...
had its moments. The problem with Book of Boba is it wasn't about Boba Fett. It was just about, I don't know.
It was all
Random
over
shit.
the place.
Also
it was
Mandalorian.
like most of the show felt like Mandalorian season 2.5.
The
Wasn't
problem
there an
about
episode where
Book
it was just Mando?
Pretty
Where
much,
he, like, that whole thing where he goes and like sees like Baby Yoda, wasn't that in Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah.
Oh god.
That's what I mean. Like
it was the main problem about the Boba Fett show. It kept showing me a show I would rather watch.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I also like thought the show was a great opportunity. Like when they were like talking about like Boba recruiting help in like the the crime war he was getting involved in. I was really expecting to see like Dengar or Bosk or like any of the other classic bounty hunters that like we know about. But then they
What, you
just
mean you didn't
reintroduced
like
Mando.
Cyberpunk Kids? You didn't like
No,
Cyberpunk Kids?
I fucking hated the Cyberpunk Kids. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. That like just straight up did not feel like Star Wars. I felt
No, that
like
was
I
weird.
felt like
You what I
somebody
was
from the
thinking.
fucking. I felt like some of the developers from the fucking Cyberpunk 2077 game just wandered on the set one day and had some ideas.
Hey, we
and
need
they
to do
were
some
like,
product
"Hey,
placement
No,
with
no,
our
no,
video
no.
game.
They didn't wander on the set. They watched an episode of Power Rangers and decided, yeah, we need more of that in our show.
oh yeah."
Oh, man.
Speaking of Power Rangers, R.I.P. Jason David.
Oh, yeah,
Frank.
Green Ranger, Tommy.
Yeah.
Man, people really
was
felt
silly.
that. Like, I honestly have not thought about Power Rangers since I was a kid. Like, I enjoyed it when I was a kid, but like, people are hurting for Tommy
Yeah.
Green Ranger death. Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, it was very sad.
Because I didn't realize he was like still involved and like he's in like the new Power Ranger stuff. I didn't even know there was new Power Ranger stuff.
Yeah, it's still
There's a
ongoing.
lot of speculation on like what exactly was going on. I mean, you got the conspiracy theories that like,
Oh my God, come on.
well,
Well,
the past few years he's apparently been working on like this documentary behind the scenes regarding Hollywood and how they treat childhood actors and what childhood actors have to do to, make it in the business,
Really?
etc. And then, yeah, and then all of a sudden he commits suicide. So there's people who are, conspiracy theorying that he didn't actually commit suicide.
God.
Again, he was also
Hollywood does
going
not
through an
give a
ugly
shit.
divorce.
They're not coordinated enough. Oh, he was? Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, he went through a really ugly divorce. So,
Well, that could be a better reason than weird Hollywood.
yeah.
I mean,
people
not that
said
that's
the
a good
same thing
reason,
about
but
Chester Bennington.
he's got his own stuff
it's
going on.
just, yeah, I think it's just
Who?
it's people
Who's
thinking
Chester? Who's Chester Bennington? Who's that?
Chester Bennington, the lead singer of Linkin Park.
Oh, okay.
When he committed suicide, there was just the same group of people saying the same thing, because he had also been very outspoken about the music industry and. But like I think it's mostly just people unable to reconcile that they think they know these people and they think that just because they have a concept of them in their public life that they like, oh, Tommy the Green Ranger would never do that. And it's like, well, you don't know what's going on in his personal life.
This is not really related, but I'm gonna force it. I love Tool.
I love Tool too.
And is it Hooker with a Penis? Is that the song? Oh man, we're definitely getting demonetized on this video. I can't believe I just said that. Is it from Opiate? The song where he's like, what is it? No, I think was it on Enema? Was it Jimmy? The one where he talks about like selling out, like someone accuses him of selling out. Do you know the song
I think that is.
He's like, I sold my soul to
Hooker
make a
with
record.
Penis.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that
I just
is
love
Hooker
that.
with
Where
Penis.
they're like telling him he sold out to the man. He's like, listen, I sold out to the man to make a record before you even knew who I existed.
Yeah,
Like, you think you know a person, but you don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
You
that is
are
Hooker with
remembering all of that right.
Thanks.
It's on the second studio album Anima.
Oh, Undertow? Oh no, wait, that's the studio album. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and the song title I will not repeat in order to
Thank you.
hopefully keep monetized.
I don't make any money off this shit
on
anyway.
this
Who
song,
cares?
on this song, it's a story about a fan that accuses them of selling out, and why he is sucking up to the man.
BSTC nipple rings to tattoo that claim that he was OGT.
I just every time I see pictures of the stupid fucking colorful floating scooters that the fucking Cyberpunk crew in Book of Boba Fett were driving. I still cannot believe that this went past multiple like committees and creative directors and writers, and like nobody stopped and was like, this feels really out of place. Like it just feels so out of place.
Hey, listen, those scooters were the only thing that felt remotely Star Wars to me. I'm like, oh, they've got hovering jet bikes. Okay, I guess this is Star Wars after all. But why were they color-coded like the Power Rangers?
Yeah. But I mean, so did all the stuff in the 3 new movies and all the stuff in the Obi-Wan show and.
Okay, listen. Yes, this is all like valid criticism. What I'm saying is Andor is none of that bullshit. If you have not watched Andor, if you like Star Wars, and you're like, man, I liked Star Wars, and then all this new stuff came out, and it was really weird. And like I tolerate it because I like Star Wars, but it's weird. And like, what's the deal? Some people have compared Andor to like Empire and said that like Andor is the best Star Wars since Empire. It's like, Andor makes bureaucracy interesting. There's like parts of the large parts of the story are about imperial bureaucracy. And like,
I have been hearing people calling it Game of Thrones in space.
Okay, screw that. I hate everyone who goes, "Oh, this is Game of Thrones," because they did that shit with Expanse. They were like, "Oh, Expanse is Game of Thrones in space." It's like, no, jerkface, it's not. It's something new. It's something different. There's intrigue. No, but people say that, and I think they say that because Ty Frank, who's one half of the crew who writes The Expanse, he was an assistant to George R. R. Martin, I think, in the early days of adapting Game of Thrones. And George R. R. Martin like really likes Ty and likes like the work that he's done with Daniel Abraham as James S.A. Corey. And I think like George R. R. Martin is like given a lot of praise to them and stuff, which is great for them. But I think that may have been where the Game of Thrones in space thing came from, or it may just be the fact that like, if something has intrigue and like political like scheming, people are like, oh my god, Game of Thrones. But
in fairness, Game of Thrones did kind of pioneer that in like the normal.
But wasn't that in wasn't that in what's it called before it? The Sopranos? Like, wasn't there like not? It's not politics, but there's like scheming and like families.
Not in a fantasy or science fiction context.
At least when it comes to movies and TV shows.
Yeah, so I reject that it's Game of Thrones in space because I think the Game of Thrones did not do well by the end. Like, it was cool and interesting in the beginning, and like House of the Dragon better than Game of Thrones. I totally feel that.
I'm a huge Song of Ice and Fire fan.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Song of Ice and Fire. I'm talking about Game of Thrones.
Right, but Game of Thrones was good up until season 4, at least like by the end of season 4. Everything after season 4 is like kind of trash in my opinion. But like I think most people who compare these things to like Game of Thrones, they're talking about how they basically crafted a fantasy television show where the fantasy aspect of the show was not the most interesting part of the show. It was the political intrigue.
Okay.
It was the Game of Thrones.
What you said just there is the exact description of Andor. That's an excellent description of Andor. If you say fantasy science fiction show where the fantasy / science fiction is not the main purpose of the show, totally Andor. I agree.
Yeah, that's kind of why I think people kind of like whenever something like that comes out, I think that's why people think about that because like you had just like random, stay-at-home moms who were like watching Game of Thrones who were like normally never be into a fantasy show, but they enjoyed it for the political intrigue, for the, the
personal drama, all that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so Andor is really cool. I recommend anyone watch it. There's no Jedi in it, thank God. There's not a single Skywalker to be seen or found. There's some stormtroopers. There's a couple TIE fighters. You kind of maybe see an X-Wing sitting on the ground in the background in a couple places, but it's so cool. And like, I am obsessed with, God, what's his name? Baron Harkonnen in the new Dune movies.
Stellan Skarsgård.
Yes, Stellan Skarsgård is so good in Andor.
He's good in
Like-
fucking everything he's in. I love that actor.
But he's like someone mentioned on YouTube that like, what is this? This is a Star Wars movie with actual actors in it. Like Stellan Skarsgård is an actual actor in a Star Wars show, and he's doing like a great job, and it's like interesting, and he's got like a key part in like the story, and like, oh man, it's just good. It's just good.
Yeah,
like, if you've been
was
afraid,
excited
just
to
go
see-
watch it. It's good.
Yeah, I was
The
excited to
final
see who's
episode
involved
comes
in the
out.
project.
Oh, the final episode came out tonight. So if you've been waiting for it to all come out, it's all out now. It's so good.
Nice. I'm actually
Like-
glad I haven't been seeing a lot of spoilers for it either, because
Good.
like I feel like I can go into it and watch it without, being
Nice.
spoiled.
Nice. You will have a good time. First 3 episodes, kind of slow. Second 3 episodes, way better than it does like this kind of like trilogy thing from the beginning.
Mhm.
Like it's like mini story arcs. It's like 3 episodes, 3 episodes, 3 episodes. The first 3 episodes are okay. The second 3 episodes are good. The third 3 episodes are very good.
That's nice. That's kind of how. That's actually kind of how House of the Dragon was, as well.
Really?
I thought the first couple
Oh, you mean
episodes
that-
were a little slow.
Completely lost me.
Okay, yeah. It lost you, House of the Dragon?
Yeah, it completely lost me in the first 3 episodes because
Really?
it had
I-
all those time jumps and
Yeah, understandable.
it starts out with here is this this girl that's looking like the
Daenerys?
dragon, the Daenerys,
Yeah.
and she has this friend, and the friend is sent to her father to help him grieve.
Help him grieve. in
Next
quotation
episode,
marks.
we jump several years and
Bumping
they have a
uglies.
baby.
Well, I mean,
Okay,
that's kind of like, I mean, I don't know if you've read the book, but that like this is supposed
The
to
book is
cover.
terrible. Don't read it.
pretty
It's so bad.
What the? I
That
love the
book?
book.
You liked Fire and
I
Blood?
loved Fire and Blood.
It's so dry. There's no character or
alright.
anything in it. It's just like it's a guy telling you a history.
I
yeah,
really
and,
enjoyed it.
and this.
I mean,
this
I like
was-
world building.
I
Okay, yeah, but,
just
like-
couldn't connect to any of the characters because
Okay.
we've always been jumping in time, and I never felt like there was any connection to anything. I mean,
I
you're
understand.
supposed to in the first episode you're supposed to believe that this king has suddenly romantic interest in this girl who's talked to like twice according to the
No,
show.
Listen,
at least.
listen.
I think
She
you're
repaired his
missing the
miniature,
point.
man. You should be able to
I think-
understand that. She repaired his miniature.
I also
Yeah,
think you're,
proposed marriage to someone
I
who
think you're
repaired your little dragon?
misunderstanding the character as well, because like it had nothing to do with romantic interest. In fact, they reinforced several
but
times
wait,
throughout the
wait,
show
wait,
that
wait,
he
but-
has no
but
romantic
DarthBob-
interest in Alicent.
DarthBob, you've read the book.
Yes.
Kajan hasn't. So
Well-
I think that Kajan's
well, but
opinion is really good for the show because you can't tell someone that the show would be better if they read the book. Like they need to
Well,
bring
no,
that
but
across
what
in
I'm
the show,
saying
and they
is
didn't
that
do it.
is that the show establishes that too, but you have to watch past episode 3.
Yeah, but if it's
Uh,
losing me before that,
Exactly.
it's
Why would you
it's
keep
kind
watching?
of like the old times when people would be telling me this game is absolutely amazing once you reach level 150. Before
Yeah.
that, it's sucking.
Well, I mean, I
Better than
I don't
you.
agree. I don't agree
no,
at all.
okay, so
but-
my thing is that so Nora watched House of the Dragon. Nora has never watched any Game of Thrones. She's never read any Game of Thrones, House of Song of Ice and Fire, any shit like that. But I was watching it and she was interested and she watched it and she enjoyed it. And that was like my barometer because I'm like I think that if an unsullied person can enjoy it, that's a good show. But like I'm not unsullied. Like I've watched too many YouTube videos. I've read like the Song of Ice and Fire books. I read most of Fire and Blood before I put it down because it was so boring and dry. And like I can fill in that background, but my biggest concern is like, is the show still good for someone who doesn't have that background?
yeah,
and apparently she
accessibility
enjoyed
is
it.
important.
And that's what I mean. Like when Kajan's like, it did not grip me. I got lost. Like the show needs to be able to keep you, and it needs to be
I
able to
mean,
guide you through those skips, because those skips are jarring.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. All I'm saying is that the show has been pretty well regarded by most critics
Sure.
and fans. So
Yeah,
I would just recommend giving the later episodes a chance, because
How much have you
really
watched,
the first couple episodes are just kind of to set up I would say like probably episode 5 through 10, and like pretty much the rest of the show, because the show is supposed to build up to the Dance of Dragons. That's the entire purpose of telling this story. So they couldn't tell the entire intricate timeline from, you know, Rhaenyra's childhood all the way up to her adulthood.
But that was a choice.
Cool.
That was a choice. Exactly, they could. That was a choice the showrunners made. I understand why they did it.
Well, yes, but I don't think it would have, like, you would have had to spend almost 2 seasons of the show just getting to the point that we got by the end of this season. And most of that content would not have been.
I mean,
well, the thing is, most of it isn't interesting.
In contrast, I watched all of the Serpent Queen, and that pretty much was that. Serpent Queen is a show about Queen Elizabeth, something like that. I'm not quite sure. French, an Italian royal that got more or less sold to the French court to marry the second prince, and the first prince gets killed, and she pretty much has to survive at the court, and she takes over. It's pretty much all politics, and it's really good.
Cool.
I can just recommend it. It's pretty much the reign of Queen Catherine of something. It's based on a book that's based on a real person.
Cool.
Huh.
It's called The Serpent Queen with Samantha Morton as Catherine de Medici, Queen of
Medici.
France. Yeah, Medici.
I recognize that name from Italian stuff. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, DarthBob, I get what you're saying, that it does get better in the later episodes. I wouldn't say that the first episodes are that bad. Like, I liked the younger actress who played the younger Rhaenyra. I thought that her relationship with Alicent was really interesting, like their friendship and stuff. And I feel like they hurried over a lot of stuff in the early show that could have been more interesting.
I don't disagree there.
I mean, from my understanding, the girl the king married is too young. She should be like
the ages are all messed up. Everything's messed up.
Well,
he's supposed to be younger. There's all kinds of messy stuff.
And this would then also explain the conflict between her and the woman, between the young princess and the woman he eventually marries. But
okay. But like, there are good stuff later on if you have the time to like dedicate to it and try. It does, because as like DarthBob said, it was very much like, whether it was a good decision or a bad decision, the stuff with the younger versions of the actors is just like, it basically could have been a prequel. No, it could have been like a flashback or something. The main story is supposed to be told with the older actors in the later timeline. Annoying, sure, but that's the intent of the show. So the stuff at the beginning might not make sense, but it's meant to be kind of like necessary setup for the main action to happen in the later timeline.
Yes. And also one thing I will also say is that George R. R. Martin has explicitly said that the actual book that this is all based on it's basically written in such a way that it's an in-universe account of the events. So it's basically like a historian recounting all the knowledge that he's gathered from history books and such. It's not a first-person account of what happened. So things like,
and there's 3 narratives and stuff, right?
Yeah,
there's 3 different narratives being told.
Narrator. Yeah, it's an unreliable narrator.
which
So,
doesn't
like,
really
there's, like, for
translate to the
instance-
TV show.
Yeah. Well, for instance, like there's one specific part in the show. I won't spoil it, but like in the book, the way it's contextualized is that this one character killed another character out of malice or vengeance. Whereas in the show, it's kind of portrayed that the murder was almost an accident. So I really like how the show is able to kind of give us
Wait.
almost a different take on the actual events of what happened from how
I hope you're
this
not talking about
historical
Kristen
account-
Cole and anything, because that was messy as shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that stuff was
hate
garbage.
Kristen Cole.
No, but the way they handled it was also messy as shit.
Yeah, it definitely was. He was definitely my least favorite part of the show.
I have to say the main reason why I stopped watching is while I didn't find the characters particularly interesting to follow because they just didn't give us time to care about these people. The main reason why I stopped watching was when they had this big fight against the crab
Feeder, yeah.
Crab feeder, exactly. When you
And
see
Damon was a superhero?
And it wasn't just that. It was the fact that he had grayscale. He drags this guy into the cave. Apparently, based on the show. I'm not going by the books. I'm just going by the show we've been shown in the past. This is a highly contagious disease. If you get blood on you or something, you're developing grayscale, you're done.
Is it confirmed that he had grayscale? Did they say that the crab feeder had grayscale?
They showed him having grayscale. The crab feeder
was a
has
mess,
grayscale all over his body. And they showed how he was squatting with his 2,000 men in a cave for a month. Okay,
that whole thing didn't make a lot of sense. Like, there was a lot of stuff that didn't make sense. Like, Damon rolling up and being all superhero, and they do it with the dragon, like Laenor, like not using his dragon, and then he could use his dragon. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, but in the end, he comes out all covered in blood from head to toe, and I'm like, okay, this character is done. I mean, how is he not supposed to develop grayscale? Next episode he was fine. It's like, okay, we don't care about continuity. We don't care about the background we set up. Okay, fine.
Well, that's a good point. I don't worry about that. That stuff doesn't bother me as much because like I realize they're making cinematic decisions.
It's like Rings of Power. I mean, I already accepted it's never going to be Lord of the Rings. I already knew that when Shadow of War came out and completely messed with the stuff simply because they don't have the rights for it. And I watched it as generic fantasy, and it was fine for the most part. There was some bad storytelling, but the fifth episode starts. The fourth episode ends with a big volcano explosion. A big pyroclastic cloud comes for them.
Wait, are you talking about Rings of Power?
Yeah,
dude, that's the 8th episode ends with that. Spoilers.
Okay, it's the 8th. You see her more or less walking into the pyroclastic cloud. Next episode starts with her running through this ash cloud. Around her, everything's burning, and she is fine. And I'm like,
she's a dwarf. She's an elf. She's invulnerable. Come on.
Yeah. But you can't show me the world burning around her, and she seems to be made of asbestos. It's okay.
Listen. So when you're watching TV and movies, you're gonna see some bullshit that doesn't make any sense. Some cars are gonna flip over and explode. Like people are gonna get shot, not get shot. Like I feel like that kind of comes with the cinematic. It's like par for the cinematic course. I tend to not worry about that too much. Like, sure, when some in-world rules are broken, like I get pissed off. But if you're always gonna find that stuff. Like, it's never gonna be perfect, right? It's just, I guess, if it's got to be entertaining enough to distract you from those what's the word I'm looking for? From those inconsistencies. And I guess it wasn't entertaining enough to distract you from those inconsistencies.
No, it just wasn't. The main problem with this for me was the writing got worse and worse with each episode, and then in the end you're getting shown that kind of stuff, and it's simply the point where I'm bailing on a show.
You're like,
I
do you
mean,
guys even care?
Yeah.
To the writers, to the showrunners. Okay. I didn't feel that with House of the Dragon. I feel like it was pretty well made, pretty well written. There was some weird shit, but like oh man, what episode is it? The Throne Walk.
The Throne Walk. That's one of the best fucking scenes.
Is that episode 8?
That series. Yeah.
Is that no?
Yeah, that's the
8.
best episode.
Yeah. So Kajan,
the best episode.
If you can take the time to give another try to House of the Dragon, just watch till episode 8. Because there's a really, really like amazing like scene and like series of scenes that like happen in episode 8 that I think is really worth it. And it's not like a giant volcano exploding. It's like it's just pure acting. It's just people being human. There's some good shit later on, and then there's some cool CG shit too. But
I just really love how this is a show that takes place like in the time of dragons, like, which is, you know, the big spectacle of like giant dragons flying around. They very easily could have turned this show into just a couple of like talking scenes and then it's just a bunch of dragons fighting. And they chose the specific decision to not do that and like kind of go back to like the roots of like the first couple seasons of Game of Thrones, where it was more about the political intrigue, more about the characters, more about, you know, just like really good dialogue and really good acting. I really applaud the showrunners for doing that.
Yeah. Like, I honestly think that House of the Dragon was better than Game of Thrones.
At least
the late Game of Thrones. You know what? I think it's better than early Game of Thrones.
I think it was better than everything after season 1. I think season 1 of Game of Thrones is like a borderline perfect season of a TV show. Like it's almost 1-to-1 with the book, and it's so well acted and paced and everything. Like I don't know.
Yep.
I think season 1 of Game of Thrones
just colored by
adaptations.
The late stuff.
Yeah, I mean the late stuff in Game of Thrones does really tarnish rewatching, but I would still say that season 1 is borderline untouchable in terms of adaptation from book. Like it's so well done.
And I would argue that's the reason why it was so good, because it was so well adapted. It's one of those cases where you have a situation where you have an established fan base, people that like that stuff because it is this way, and you have nobody coming in and knowing better and saying, no, this stuff is not for us, we can do better than this.
Until later, when they just did worse.
Like you have with the Witcher series right now, where the writers actively saying they hate the Witcher. And you have the story writers for the show actively going on record in front of the press and saying they hate the Witcher. Why do you hire people like that?
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, it's also the reason why, what's his name, Superman,
Henry Cavill.
Warhammer Heartthrob
left the show. He left the show.
Is it actually?
He left the show, and after actively campaigning to play the role for years, he left the show.
Yeah, he left the show because he said he can't.
Wait,
keep
you say because? Did he say that's because? That's why?
Yeah.
Or is that just like
he made it
speculation?
Clear that no, he made it clear that that he was the voice of reason on the set. He kept constantly pushing, no, he wouldn't do this, he wouldn't do that, we can't do this, we can't do that. And he actively said he can't keep working like this, and that's why he stops. And he wishes Thor, the actor that plays Thor, is taking over as Garrett?
Really?
It's not Thor. It's his brother.
Okay. It's
Actually, that's another thing that happened this past week. Is Chris Hemsworth actually said that he's temporarily, at least, retiring from acting because he recently found out that he is highly
His Alzheimer's
predisposed to early
genes or
onset
something, right?
Alzheimer's. Yeah, yeah.
That sucks. That's horrible.
Yes,
Damn.
like apparently his grandfather developed Alzheimer's when he was like in his like mid to late 40s,
Oh
and like
no.
apparently the genetic hallmarks are there that it's very likely to happen to him as well. So like he
Oh
basically said he's
no.
temporarily retiring from acting to spend more time with his family because I believe he was quoted as saying, "Even if one day I can't remember all the great times with my family, I want them to have ones to remember." Which I
Oh
just
my
think is so fucking
god.
heartbreaking.
Oh my god. That like brain stuff kills me. Alzheimer's kills
Yeah.
me. Like
I've always told my loved ones that if
dementia
that shit
kills
happens
me.
to me, just kill me. Just fucking put me out of my misery because I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to live like that.
That sucks. And like yeah, that's horrible. Like I hope that I don't know, he manages to dodge it cuz
I do too. Because he's a good actor.
but I'm
He's a
glad that
really
he's taking the
good
time
person,
because
too.
like he should be spending that time like yeah, spending that time doing cool shit that he wants to do with the people he loves. Like cool that he's like a cool actor and has done some awesome movies and stuff, but like he needs his life as well. So good call.
Right.
I'm glad he made that call.
Not everybody would make that call too. A lot of people in that industry are very married to their
Look
careers.
at Chadwick Boseman, right?
Yeah.
That's his name, right? Did I get it right? Did I fuck it up?
Yep. Yeah. Black Panther.
Yeah, Chadwick, right? Not Chadwick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Chadwick Boseman.
Edward,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like he kept acting through like terrible cancer, and then he died of it.
Mhm.
Like that's
Yeah.
again another decision you can make, but oh man, I don't know if I could do that. But I guess like the thing
And
with
nobody
him is that
knew
he was
either.
like
It
a
was
he was
so
an icon
sudden.
for like millions of like black youth. Like
Yeah,
he
and that's
carried that
why
on
he
his
kept,
shoulder and he decided to prioritize it. And that
yeah,
is
and that's
really
that's
impressive.
why he kept on acting because I recently watched a video by a black content creator who talked
Yeah.
about Black Panther and also
Yeah.
why he loves Chadwick Boseman so much because he took on the responsibility that this role brought, and he was very aware of the fact what he meant to a lot of black youth in America.
Yeah, like I worked with a charity doing some like photo video stuff that works with a lot of black youth, and we all went and watched Black Panther together in the theater, and it was a riot. It was amazing. It was lots of fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I still haven't seen the second one. I need to
Nor
find
have
the time to
I.
go see it. It's been like sold out everywhere whenever I've wanted to go see it because I've been
Well,
wanting
that's
to see it
good.
on the weekend, but it's been sold out like every
It's
fucking weekend.
supposedly not very good.
Oh, that's
At least,
disappointing.
Well,
at
it's gonna be
least
hard to
from
live up to the
what
first
I
one.
heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's once more one of those Disney clashes of tone. Where
Okay, yeah.
you have on the one hand the cast that's really really using their own pain of losing Chadwick Boseman to
Yeah.
portray their loss and their feeling of loss for Black Panther.
Yep.
On the other hand, you have a terrible script by
Disney needs some giant explosions.
yeah, exactly, pretty much.
I am excited to see Namor though. I really like that they
Namor.
Huh?
His name is Namor, not Namor.
His name is Namor?
It's in
Yeah,
the,
they renamed him for the movie.
is it
Are you
Namor?
serious?
Yeah, it's no longer they no longer using the Atlantis background for him, no longer using the Roman background for him, and he actively introduces himself as Namor.
I mean, I'm fine with
That's
that.
weird.
It doesn't really bother me. But I
And
mean, I think it was a smart decision to not try and do the Atlantean thing after the Aquaman movie.
um,
I think it would have been. I think it would have been a very stupid decision to like basically because the characters are literally so close in the comics.
yeah, but they're no, yeah, because they are the same thing. But it's since DC and Marvel have this long-running one-upmanship of each other, which is why you have Captain Marvel in DC and Captain Marvel in Marvel comics because they fought so long over the who got to get the title.
Well, now Marvel. Well, DC doesn't use Captain Marvel anymore. They haven't used Captain Marvel for over a decade now.
But they are the ones that have the rights to it.
Well, yes, but they don't use
Question.
Marvel needs to hyphen it.
Question. While we're on the topic of dorky stuff,
Yeah.
does anyone give a shit about Avatar?
No. Not in the slightest.
I'm cautiously like I'll go see it, but like I don't think it's going to be nearly as successful as the original. I think the only reason the original was successful was because it was very innovative at the time in terms of
Yeah.
I mean,
like-
yeah, I go watch it, but the first one was already very dorky with the sex with the animals and stuff.
sex with the animals.
Yeah,
I don't remember that part.
they have the sex scene with Sully and the girl where they intertwine those hair things. The same.
They're not animals though. Those are like the Na'vi. Those are the people.
Yeah, wait, but the very same hair extension with the sensory things. It was what he's sticking in every animal. They have, it's the same
Okay,
thing.
this is going some places. This is going some places. I don't know. There's going to be some Slaneshi content here. I don't know.
I don't think the actual like the hair thing. I don't think that was like the actual sexual penetration. I think that was just like supposed to be like a kind of pseudo spiritual connection between animal and person.
At least the version I saw, I mean, could be that the German version was altered, so I'm not going to.
Germans do get into some weird stuff.
But based on what I've seen is that they don't have actually physical sex like humans, but instead have this
spiritual connections.
Have this union by intertwining their hair extensions.
Okay, this is not the angle I was hoping for when we got into this conversation.
But it's
so
very
weird Avatar sex aside. I'm just wondering if you feel hyped at all for the new Avatar movie. I like me some James Cameron. One of my favorite movies is The Abyss. James Cameron did well by Aliens. I don't think this is going to live up to his own hype for it.
No,
I don't think it can
either.
Because he's like, this is going to be the greatest thing, and it's like, I think you waited too long, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it took too long. You like maybe if we didn't have this massive boom of the Marvel movies taking over cinemas.
Star Wars stuff too, eh?
Well, Star Wars too, but Star Wars maybe to a lesser degree, just because nobody, like on the whole, nobody likes the sequels. So,
right.
I mean, Star Wars, like at best, the Star Wars sequels are controversial. Like, nobody really talks about the Star Wars movies in a positive light right now. Star Wars in general is seen as kind of like, I think Andor is really the only thing I've heard people talking about positively when it comes to Star Wars since The Mandalorian.
Yeah, and The Mandalorian is also only in parts well regarded, mostly because everything before that was pretty terrible, and the first season of Mandalorian is kind of, this could be going somewhere, best not to think too hard about it.
Yeah, and then the second season kind of more relied on like nostalgia bait, which is a major phenomena in movies in general nowadays, where everything is just relying on baiting nostalgia. Everything's got to be a sequel. Everything's got to be a remake. Everything's got to be a spin-off. Everything's got
that drives me bonkers.
Where is the original fucking content? Best movie I saw all year. The fucking Northman. The Northman was so fucking good.
Yeah?
Completely original fucking story. wasn't a sequel, wasn't a remake, wasn't an adaptation. It was just an original screenplay by a really good director with brilliant actors acting their heart out. I want
Sorry,
more
I thought we were
films
talking
like
about Star
that.
Wars. I
Well,
got confused. No, because I was gonna say that like I think I've banged this drum before, but the thing that drives me nuts in Star Wars is when Finn's character is black and someone's like, "Oh my god, he's black. He's clearly related to Mace Windu." It's like, can we not have black men in the Star Wars universe that aren't related to other black men? Like, can that not be a thing?
No.
Yeah, but
I was like half
it's-
expecting the
it's-
Rise of Skywalker to reveal Finn was related to Lando Calrissian.
Oh god.
Yeah.
See, can we like not? Can we maybe
But
have people be their own
it's not
characters?
just a problem for the black characters in Star Wars. It's also a problem for the white characters in Star Wars. There are just more white characters to relate to.
Well,
But
yeah, there's
everybody
also like
is
the whole
also
thing with
somehow
Rey and it's like
connected to everybody.
Palpatine and shit. But yeah, I hate that too. Like when that second movie was like, "You're no one," I'm like, "Thank God." And when they're like, "Psych, you're Palpatine," I'm like, "No, throw it in the river."
I mean, the second movie was also very problematic for me because the first movie shows Rey getting tortured on a tortured imperial torture chair with a torture droid, and the second movie picks up like 2-3 hours after the fact, and she starts swooning all over the person that tortured her. I mean, that was so fucked up.
It's a little messed.
That
The
whole
only thing I'll caution,
romance thing was garbage.
I found it kind of interesting. There was something there for me. I don't know. It felt different. It felt a little bit new. So like I like that second movie. The second new
fucking-
Star Wars, whatever. Everyone hates it. I know. That's the cool thing to do.
I hate The Last Jedi. It is, to me, the biggest misstep in cinematic history.
Yeah,
I love it.
It is the
Totally agree.
It was
biggest-
somewhat.
is
It was
the
kind of
single
new
biggest
in different
misstep.
ways.
I don't care if it was new. I don't care if it subverted expectations.
It didn't feel like
It
warmed over
completely
New
it
Hope.
undermined one of the most beloved characters in cinematic history.
Why? Luke Skywalker? Luke Skywalker
Yes.
can't be flawed? That's boring.
Can
Even
be
Mark
flawed,
Hamill
but-
hates how they handled that character.
One moment. Luke Skywalker can be flawed, but what they did is whatever character was on screen there was the exact opposite to Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, we established that Luke has flaws in the
we
earlier
watched
films.
3 movies of Luke Skywalker going through hell and back because he wouldn't give up on his father, and first chance he gives up on his nephew. It just doesn't make sense.
And
It's not the
furthermore,
same. Brother Pink just said the black girl.
I think we're
was
getting into
related
why we don't
to
talk
Lando.
about Star Wars. Oh God, don't don't do it, Brother Pig. I think we're getting into why I don't like talking about Star Wars.
so like the only thing I'll say, just in regards to that, is that yes, I agree that we can establish that Luke can be a flawed character. But the thing is, to me, they already did that to perfection in Empire Strikes Back. Luke
Where was he
running off,
flawed? He did nothing.
abandoning his training, putting himself and his friends in danger. Luke fails. The Empire wins in Empire
That is a
Strikes Back.
safe,
in large
safe
part,
flaw.
in large
I want
part,
something less safe.
due to his actions.
Okay.
Having a character that just randomly acts contrary to how he's acted in every other film because he went through some random character development that we never got a chance to see except in some silly flashback that lasts for 5 minutes is not good writing. So that's all I'll say about that.
So, chat, are you serious, Kajan, that Rings of Power has been renewed for 5 seasons?
Not only is Rings of Power the highest, has the biggest budget of everything ever created, but they also bought 5 seasons of from the start.
Oh.
They
God.
They went in expecting to do 5 seasons. That's why Amazon freaked out this much when the review bombing started, because everybody hated the show, and Dwarven had no beards and stuff like that, and that's why they freaked out so much, because they invested so much money. This Rings of Power was supposed to be the next Game of Thrones, and they
Dang.
invested accordingly.
And then House of the
Dang.
Dragon came out and wound up being more critically and fan acclaimed than it turns out. A Game of Thrones spinoff was the next Game of Thrones.
Shocker.
Actually, I
That-
have heard
oh,
rumors
that is
that
crazy.
they're talking about firing the showrunners for that show, actually, and getting
Really?
new showrunners on the
Yeah,
Ring of Power. I heard it
Really?
like
much need to
there's-
start from scratch.
there's rumors that like Amazon internally is not happy about Rings of Power, and in large part they're blaming the showrunners, which I think is
Uh-oh.
sad because I don't think it's entirely their fault. Though I do,
No.
though I will say, showrunners do have a lot of power when it comes to how a show performs and how a show is presented.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the problem with that show is that it was 50% member berries with remember me, and remember this and remember that,
Yeah,
and the other 50% was we don't have the rights to this. We need to make shit up.
yeah. So
And
it's partially the Tolkien estate's fault, but
yeah,
yeah.
I mean they didn't have the rights for nearly half of this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have the rights to the Silmarillion, and that's one thing one critique that I've seen is like, oh, this doesn't follow the Silmarillion. Well, they can't reference the stuff in the Silmarillion because they don't have the rights to the Silmarillion. All they have is the fucking appendices from the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit.
But
That's all they have.
some folks have said that that was an actual like smart strategic decision on the behalf of the Tolkien estate, because the Silmarillion can be separately developed into something that would actually like live up to what it was meant to be,
Yeah.
For the
versus just
estate,
like
it
selling
was
the whole farm to Amazon.
for
Yeah.
the estate it was a good move.
For the
but
fans,
it's-
not so much.
Yeah, but it also means that all those rights that are out there, they're pretty much, since everybody wants some kind of franchise, they just make shit up and ruin it for everybody.
Well, I think that better, I don't know, better writers, better showrunners, better something could have still done well without the Silmarillion. I don't think like not
totally.
having the
I mean-
Silmarillion like
Oh no, for sure.
torpedoed the thing.
Yeah, but
But
now
they just
the
didn't
thing is
manage
tainted.
it.
Yeah, but now it's tainted. It's just
You
like
can-
Star Wars. You can try to bring it back if you do some Rogue One type stuff where everybody was freaking out about the end, where you show Vader being basically the some slasher movie monster. And everybody's freaking out because they're getting exactly what they always imagined. You can bring it back, no doubt. But for the moment, it's tainted. I don't think the next season, unless they do radical changes and promising that everything is going to be different and it all was just a dream, I don't think
It was always just a dream.
I don't know. I am a huge Tolkien fan. I could barely get through the first episode. I haven't watched anything else.
Yeah,
All I know
Nora
about the
loves Lord of the
show-
Rings. Nora will watch Lord of the Rings over. Like, she hasn't read the books, but whatever. She loves Lord of the Rings films. She'll watch them over and over and over again. I was so excited for her to watch this because I'm like, you love Lord of the Rings. Like, I was excited for her to have the new Matrix movie, and she fell asleep. And I also fell asleep, like, in the first episode of Rings of Power.
Yeah, it's so. I don't know. Like I can't put my finger. It's not just the writing either. It's the aesthetic, and I can't quite put my
I
finger
don't
on what's wrong
Mind the
with it.
aesthetic. I think it's pretty.
So I actually saw a really interesting video the other day. It kind of got into like why the costume design and the art direction of the Rings of Power feels so off compared to
why?
the Lord of the Rings. And it's kind of
Did they
like,
hire Weta or no?
They didn't hire Weta. That's probably one
Okay.
problem. But what the guy? Because the guy that I watched, he's like a historical. He's like a guy. He's like a historian, and he's
Yeah.
specifically into like medieval history. And he
Yeah.
gets into how the like costume design of the original Lord of the Rings films, the way it kind of dips into different eras and styles of clothing, makes it feel like its own. It makes it feel unique. It makes it feel like a fantasy world rather than, you look at the when I
Copying.
look at the elves, I just see fantasy romance. When I look at the dwarves, I just see kind of
In
generic
Lord of the
fantasy
Rings or in Rings of
dwarves.
Power? What are you talking?
In the Rings of Power,
Okay.
I just see like I don't know, all of the costumes seem very derivative. The best comparison that I've seen is that the same costume designers that worked on this look like they worked on the World of Warcraft movie. And I love the World of Warcraft movie, but World of Warcraft's aesthetic is not something I want in my Tolkien. It looks too high fantasy,
Okay.
and I think that Jackson did a really good job capturing that low fantasy vibe that um, I think the books kind of had. I don't know. There's
Yeah.
just something that it's like this. It's like I don't know. Tolkien's movies just, or Jackson's movies just have this kind of almost like everybody looks almost like they're in a historically accurate costume to a world that doesn't exist. Whereas these characters in Rings of Power, they just all look like they're wearing fantasy costumes. I don't know. It's a really hard thing to like explain, but like just something
Yeah.
looks off about the world, and just I don't know, it just doesn't look right to me.
Okay.
I have to
Well,
say
you know
the
what? If you
costumes.
want, I don't want. It's not going to spoil too much, but if you want some like classic Lord of the Rings goodness, a la Peter Jackson, you know what you should watch? You should watch Andor because our boy Smeagol's in it. Andy
Oh, that's
Serkis is
great.
in Andor, and he is an amazing character.
Andy Serkis was in. Didn't Andy Serkis play the fucking Snoke? Didn't he play Snoke too?
Oh, I don't know. Let's not talk about that. Maybe, but he's an Andor, and he's amazing.
Oh, I'm glad he got another chance to. Is he him, or is he doing like some
No, he's him. He's
motion
like a
capture
human.
shit?
No, he's a
Okay.
human.
Well, I just
He's a
like
human
half
dude.
the shit he's in. He's just motion capture.
No.
So
He's like actually
it's
like a
nice to
human
see
actor. It's
him.
good.
It's nice to see him actually performing because he's actually a good actor.
Agreed. And you see that in this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, not
Yeah,
that his
check it
motion
out.
capture work isn't an example of him being a
No,
great actor.
what's it called? Planet of the Apes.
Oh yeah,
I love those movies. He's so good.
yeah. King Kong. He played King Kong in the
Oh,
Peter
I
Jackson
forgot
King
that.
Kong movie.
Forgot that.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of there's a multitude of problems with the Rings of Power. But I think the aesthetic is one of my major gripes, and that's mostly because I haven't delved into the show enough to complain about the writing yet. But
I have to
yeah.
admit, I didn't mind the costumes as much.
Neither did I.
My
It's not
my
even.
main
Yeah,
my
I
main
don't know.
problem was well, it wasn't the main problem. I was really disappointed to see the dwarven woman without a beard.
Who cares? This is some bullshit. I don't
do.
care about this. I don't care at all. I don't care at all.
You need to understand this. It's a running joke in Lord of the Rings, and it's even in the movie. When Gimli is talking about all the women and Frodo looks to Legolas and it's like he never seen a female dwarf and Legolas just mimics the big bushy beard and stuff like that, and that's why you don't see female dwarfs. And
I really couldn't care less. Fine,
yeah,
sure, okay, whatever. Like, there's so much more
I
important
think
shit to
they
worry
should have had
about.
long hair.
it is one of the few fantasy that still do the started with it or still doing it, having beards on female on women.
Wait, but is that like Tolkien canon, or is that just like Peter Jackson
Yeah.
jokes?
No, it's Tolkien canon. It's from Norse mythology. That according to the Norse mythology, the reason women don't have beards is because dwarven needed the female beards to forge the chain for Fenris.
That's crazy.
They needed the sound of the cat footsteps,
I know that part.
the beards from women, and a third thing. Those three things got made into the chain, I believe.
No, it was something with the mountain. It was like the roots of the mountain. It was the cat's footsteps. I don't remember anything but dwarven beards.
Not female beards from the women beard.
Listen, my High Fleet used to be High Fleet Fenrir.
I also, but my main complaint in terms of aesthetics, and I know this has been harped on ad nauseum by critics and fans and everybody. I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but I'm sorry, the elves need long hair. The elves need long hair. They look like Klingons, and I know everybody's saying that, but these do not look like elves to me. They look like Klingons at best, or just humans with pointy ears.
Yeah,
they don't look like elves.
They also don't move like elves.
God damn it, Kajan, you're right.
Yeah, I know I'm right.
The rope or chain used to bind Fenrir is called Gleipnir, and it's the sound of a cat's footfalls, the beard of a woman, the roots of a mountain, the sinews of a bear, the breath of a fish, the spittle of a bird. But you understand that the things that are used to bound Fenrir are things that don't exist, right?
Yeah.
So dwarven beards don't exist.
They don't exist.
No,
because
the sound of a cat's footfalls, you can't hear it.
Like, yeah, because they were used.
Breath of a fish?
I don't know. Yeah, I think the implication in the story is that the reason they don't exist in real world is because they were used to bind Fenrir.
There's something wrong. Okay. There's something wrong with your web camera.
Yeah, you lost.
Oh shit, it died. Okay, this is a good indication that I need to go to bed. It's close. It's late. Let's check in with chat because we haven't been checking in with chat. It's been very bad.
Wow.
And people have been saying some nice things, so let's go check it out. Hold on a sec.
Where do you want to start? We've been.
Wow, there's lots.
Yeah, we've been
5 seasons of Lord of the Rings. So Tom Wilson says he gets called both Namor and Namor.
Oh,
Tom Wilson's not excited about Avatar, but probably will see it. Jonas, Brother Pink says that Star Wars is stuck. Brother Pink, you gotta go watch Andor, man. Oh, I haven't seen Nope yet. Tom Wilson's saying Nope was one of the best films this year, I think. I really want to see that.
Yeah, it's also on my watch list, but I'm waiting for the missus.
I'm not a huge fan of Jordan Peele's stuff, to be honest. I
liked Get Out. I didn't like Us. I thought that Us was
I thought
not
Get
good.
Out was one of the most overrated films of that year. I thought it was good, don't get me wrong, but like the fact that movie got nominated for Best Picture, I was like, really?
If you want to watch a good romance, animated romance, watch Intergalactic. It's about.
Is that Jordan Peele?
I'm not sure. It's on Netflix. It's an animated show about a black artist falling in love with a black photographer. And it's an adult animated movie on Netflix.
Oh, cool.
It's a romantic
It's
comedy.
called Intergalactic? Intergalactic? What's it called?
I'm posting the Wikipedia article in chat.
Thanks.
I can recommend it.
Nice.
It's also something entirely new, and it's the art style
Oh.
from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, that kind
Oh,
of animated
nice.
style.
I really like that movie.
Oh, I loved it.
I went into it not having any expectations.
I had hoped it would be good, and I'm really glad they changed Miles Morales, and they made him good.
Not familiar.
So, yeah, he was a wet rag in the comics. It was the reason why I stopped reading those comics, because he was so boring. And the movie made him interesting and made him unique, and that's
cool.
That's the biggest accomplishment of the movie, in my opinion.
Maybe that should be what we close off with. Does anyone else have recommendations for good, wholly original content that isn't just like sequels or whatever?
Spin-offs or adaptations or...
Yeah. I really like Knives Out. That was last year, and that was a couple of years back, and they're releasing a new one on Netflix at Christmas.
Going back to what we were talking about, with Star Wars, I will never support anything that Rian Johnson touches.
Okay, Knives Out is a really great movie. You should go see it. You should stop doing the Star Wars bullshit.
I did see Knives Out.
And the second one is out already. Also, it's called
in theaters.
Glass
Yes.
Onion.
Yeah, in theaters it's out already, and it's coming out on Netflix in late December, I think.
November 23rd, at least.
That's theaters, isn't it?
It's set. It's a Netflix movie. So
Oh wait, I might be talking North American schedules.
that
might
might
be
be
different.
possible. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I'm really excited to watch 1899, which is the next series from the creators of Dark. It came out recently on Netflix.
That sounds... Oh, is that the one with the steamship?
Yeah, it's basically, it looks like it's probably the Bermuda Triangle, but it's not, it's unclear. As are most
I saw
good
trailers
things.
of that. That does look really interesting.
and yeah, it seems like its Netflix release is in December.
Why did I have nothing up? Okay.
Oh.
So my streaming software died, and now it came back, and the only thing showing on my streaming software is a creepy little picture of DarthBob's Wendigo. And I think that this is the Wendigo telling me that it is time to stop. That I'm done for the night. I still have the chat open, but for some reason my computer doesn't want to show the chat. Yeah, my camera, I put a new battery in my camera. Turns out I didn't charge that battery. So it's just a mess.
Where's the Wendigo?
We're done. We're done for the night. Thank you everyone who stuck around for this. It was very random. We started off with some hobby tips at the beginning, then DarthBob showed up and everything just went off the rails. Talking about random dorkness. Yeah, it's all of our faults. I don't know. I'm glad we talked about that stuff. Honestly, go watch Andor. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
it's Star Wars, but not Star Wars.
I started watching Cyberpunk, the new Cyberpunk Edge Runners on Netflix. I guess it's not new now. It's been out for a month or two, but it is very good. I definitely recommend that as well.
Please
it will make you want to play Cyberpunk.
Yep.
Oh, what the hell? What the hell did I just do? Now I can't even see the chat. Oh my God. Okay, it's back. Thank you if you've enjoyed this random stream of randomness, especially this broken bit at the end. As Kajan mentioned, please like, subscribe, and click the notify button. La-di-da.
Or else the Wendigo will get you.
Or else this little Wendigo is going to come for you. There'll be another stream next Friday, Creature Conference stream. I haven't scheduled it yet, but I will. And we'll probably do some November wrap-up. DarthBob, I want to do a stream on a weekend to give away the prizes, do like a final drawing for November. We got to figure out when we're going to do that. We're running out of time, but I'm thinking sometime in December. So
yeah. Let me know when, and I'll make sure it's good with my schedule.
Oh,
I'm usually pretty free on weekends.
okay, cool. That's good to know. We'll figure something out. And yeah, keep doing your Nidvember stuff, everyone. Keep safe. Stay healthy. Tom Wilson says the Wendigo has a sassy stance. I like that.
He is quite sassy.
Yeah, and we'll talk to everyone next time. Have a good night. Here, I'm going to make the Wendigo dance. Bye. Oh, wait, the Wendigo's just in the... Oh, shit, all my stuff has been here all along. The Wendigo is just in the way. Okay, this is a disaster. Bye.